Welcome everybody to the next round of the group stage of Grindhouse Massacre here. We are starting off with Vabo playing for teams Valhalla on the Dead Dog Saloon against the survivors on Team Sympathy. They have decided to pick Wraith as their first pick, so we're going to be hearing a lot of bing bongs and a lot of M1s here on the Dead Dog Saloon. I am joined here today by my fellow caster Nugs. What are you thinking about this match?
I think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup as we found a quick first tag over here in the typical 3-gen of Dead Dog Saloon, and a second tag does follow as well onto Citro. We will see a quick first hook here, and this looks like a very good start for Vobo already.
Yeah, will they even go for a pain resonance hook here? I don't even know if they will, as the progress on the generators is probably minimal. They might do it just to be safe. But no, yeah, they've decided to just not go with it. They are running a hyper-aggressive build. Usually we see Corrupt Intervention being run on the Wraith just because it can take him some time to get the first down. But Vobo looks like he just didn't need it this time. He didn't run Corrupt, instead running a very aggressive build. Eruption, Ruin, and Pain Resonance to control the generators, and a Sloppy Butcher to play hit and run. And it does look like the first unhook is coming through rather quickly, allowing for Vobo to just go back to the hook and find Citro here. Citro getting caught out of position here at the water tower. And that's just going to be a second down immediately, still at 5 gens. And this could even still be a pain resonance, as Vobo has saved it.
That is right. Another usual Wraith perk we do see is Bamboozle to help with that first chase as well, which Vobo did not need. We see a wall break over here at 5, checking on some generators as the pain res did come through with the second hook. We find Bucket over here at this loop. A swing comes through the pallet to try and get a tag, but it does not work out, leaving the chase quite immediately and checking the hook here to see if anyone was going for a rescue, in which was not the case. We're now heading back to this generator, trying to catch Bucket off guard, but it does not work out well. Bucket Man was able to read that.
Yeah, realistically, if you're Vobo here, you can even just sit here and camp out this hook till the very end, as the survivor's gen progress is probably not too high. We heard a bit on that generator by the building side of the map. However, they are going to opt for a double save here, which may honestly not even be the best decision. They could have gone for a trade that would have been another pain resonance. Problem with a double save here is that does allow Vobo to get 2 more hits with the Sloppy Butcher, meaning that, sure, they rescue Citro for the time being. However, they are very prone to getting a snowball here, especially if Citro goes down too quickly. Of course, without the Bamboozle, like you said, this is going to be a slightly more difficult loop to play. Vobo expecting the head-on, and they do find it. Phantom hiding in the locker with the head-on, trying to save Citro here, but just getting grabbed. And that could be another pain resonance, and that will be all 4 survivors injured at 4 gens remaining. Vobo not quite making the pain resonance in time to prevent the gen pop. This should hit the main building one, though. And they're going to go straight back trying to find their tunnel out on Citro while they have so much pressure.
Yep, this is a very good position for Vobo here, as I believe we do find Citro here, our tunnel out. And now we chase Citro here, looking to secure this tunnel out and force a 3v1 at 4 generators remaining, which will be a very, very crucial position for Sympathy survivors. We see Citro play this pallet very well, winning many of the 50-50s, while a swing and a miss did come through the pallet. But the Bloodlust does come through, and Citro will not be able to make this 5 filler. A second generator pops while Citro will be dying, and a 3v1 will officially come through.
Yeah, 3v1 with Ruins still up and 2 injuries on the board. We did see the reset onto Phantom, allowing us to know that there is another survivor that is most likely about to be reset here. The survivors on Team Sympathy here are just going to have to play incredibly slowly, though, if they want to actually make anything out of this. I think they need to play just for generators at this point. Playing for outs is going to be next to impossible, especially with how much pressure Vobo's been able to exert across the map. But unfortunately, they do see scratch marks, and there's only 1 survivor, 2 survivors now that are healthy, but it looks like they've managed to find the 1 survivor that is not healed. That is going to be Mars, taking a very quick down. And Vobo, still with the Ruin up, knows the 2 survivors are resetting, and Mars was the only one working a generator, so that means Ruin is going to eat all of their gen progress up, and this is going to be a very comfortable basement hook for Vobo. And I believe that is also going to be Yeah, they are saving the pain resonance stack for later, telling us that they may be assuming that the survivors are going to get more progress out of this. We hear a lot on the main building, and they actually managed to pop it in Vobo's face, but that does give Vobo eyes on the two last survivors. If they can just get a tag onto Phantom here, and then go back and get a tag onto Bucket Man, this game may be as well as over.
Yep, that is right. We do see a nice fake going one way for Phantom, and we do know Bucketman's position as we watched him vault that window. Could be going for the rescue, but is not. Instead, heading over towards 7 here, slow vaulting this pallet, trying to bait Wraith to make a play here. Uncloak comes through. A strong 50-50 will be coming out, and it looks like Bucket will not be winning that 50-50. With both survivors injured now, and Mars about to hit the second stage, we spot Phantom trying to go for a safe rescue, but it does not work out. Will we get this down in time?
Yeah, rescuing a basement hook while injured, especially against a killer with as much mobility as Wraith, is almost next to suicidal at this point, and that is going to be Phantom making the filler pallet at mid. Vobo is just going to drop chase and go back. They know that whoever got the rescue has to be injured, so they can either go for a tunnel out onto Mars here, or they can go for a down onto Bucket Man. They chose this down onto Mars, got the hit through the base kit borrowed time. Mars placing a cheeky chem trap there, trying to get Vobo to kick it. But Vobo defiantly mind gaming the carriage pallet. They actually get away with it just with a little bit of a spin there, getting the down onto Mars. Mars desperately looking behind them, but not seeing Vobo coming around the corner. And they are going to outplay that cheeky chem trap place there, and I assume gladly watch it disappear from the map in a few seconds.
Yep, that is right. A very, very nice mind game coming out from Vobo to secure a 2v1 now with these two generators remaining. All Phantom and Bucket can really do now is play this really slow and hope that the next chase lasts long enough for one generator to pop to make this a 4K1.
Yeah, the difference between a 4K1 and a 4K2 for a killer like Wraith is actually fairly large. You can rely on maybe even getting a tie with a 4K1. A 4K2, though, forces you into getting a 4K3 win condition, which is not impossible, but it's very unlikely. Now, Vobo knows that both survivors got reset. Obviously, there's nothing like a medkit available against Wraith, so that means the survivors were doubled up somewhere, and Vobo just trying to sniff out where they went. Fortunately, the gen spread does seem to favor Vobo here. They have three very decently close together gens. In fact, four. They're actually pretty evenly spaced. They can just go on a line and find all of these gens. Ruin is still up, and they still have one more stack of Pain Resonance. Now, if you're on the survivor side here, you really just, like you said, need that one long chase to buy them a ton of time. So you may not even consider getting rid of Ruin at this point, as if it comes to a situation where you have to let go of the gen, the game's probably already over.
Yep, that's right. Vobo making clean work of this main building area with the breakable wall and pallets. We find Bucket Man here, and now it is Bucket's job to have a long enough chase as we see a nice whiff come out from Vobo. And Phantom just needs enough time to work on some generators, but we will be leaving this chase and trying to uh, see if Phantom was working a generator, in which we will be able to tell from Ruin, considering all gens were at 0. We do see some gen progress on this 9 generator, knowing that Phantom is in the area, and here he is over at the water tower, trying to leave the area, hopefully allowing Bucket to get some gen progress, in which an early tag does come through, and we were committing to this chase as well over here at water tower.
Yeah, that is going to be a very fortunate stun onto Vobo here, allowing Phantom to just buy more time. Bucket Man likely on the gen on the far side of the street there, trying to just weasel any progress they can away. Vobo, though, not under almost any pressure right now. They know they can just bloodlust this and get the down eventually, which it does look like will happen. And Bucket Man, already injured, going to have to figure out how to stealth away from where they were previously. Unfortunately for the survivors, they really don't have any safe generators they can work. This street gen on the far side of the map does not really have any cover here. It's got easy access to main building, but with all the resources depleted won't really be useful, and that is going to be the grab onto Bucket Man, desperately trying to get the extra 1,000 blood points. As we all know, blood points means skill in competitive DBD.
Absolutely correct. This will be a 4K2 result for Vobo, very strong. Now, Sympathy's killer will need to get a 4K3 in order to take the set, which is going to be a very, very tough win con. And while not likely, not impossible either. We can never know what happens with these Wraith sets.
Yeah, I expect we're going to see an equally aggressive build as we saw this game, possibly ditching the Corrupt as well, because the killer on the side of Sympathy is just going to have to go for a massive snowball, which is not impossible on Wraith. However, it is fairly difficult. I like to think of him almost as similar to Oni in that spreading injuries gives you a ton more pressure, but that's really true of any killer. Wraith, we're probably going to be seeing something like Sloppy Butcher or Bamboozle just trying to get the pressure on the survivors, whether it's through main building chases or through just hit and run.
Yeah, with Bamboozle, I would expect Sympathy's Wraith to take some more chases at the main building than what would be before. But with Sloppy Butcher, I would expect their Wraith to instead leave chases that go to the main building if the hit takes too long.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's a lot of variety that we can see in these Wraith sets, and we're going to see very shortly what Sympathy decides to do coming up in their killer match as the Wraith. We are back with the second Wraith round here with Valhalla versus Sympathy. And I'm stumbling with my words right now because Phantom is absolutely cooking right now with this Wraith build. We have, I mean, with the win condition set during the last match, they need to get 4 kills and 3 gens remaining in order to secure the win for their team. So, not entirely surprised that we're seeing such a interesting build being run here. We have crowd control already revealing itself. Devour Hope, not really having any use just yet. Make your choice pairing well with Devour Hope. And we have Pain Resonance just to control the gens a little bit. And, you know, I'm all for seeing this build work out. What are your thoughts, Nugs?
My thoughts are the exact same. This build is definitely a very unique one that I was personally not expecting to see with such a win condition that was set. We do see a early first chase onto Vobo, who has lasted a very long time before the first tag, heading towards one of the Hex Totems, might be able to call it out for their team. Whether it is Crowd Control or Devour Hope will be unknown, however. Body Block does come through from Romano, and it is very successful, but Vobo is still held here over at 11. Very
Yeah,
strong.
Phantom.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. Phantom just absolutely trying to keep this chase towards the deep side of the map. They want to position these hooks perfectly with not only their pain resonances, but also in a position where they can come back to the survivor with make your choice without giving up too much space, as you have to be a considerable distance for both Devour Hope and make your choice, while this map is fairly small. So they're going to have to position themselves very well to make sure they actually get value out of both of these perks. So if you get a hook in this position, you can go around main, you can go around this deep side of the map around the campsite, and pray that you actually get value out of your perks. But if you put the hook in a bad spot, you won't really have anywhere you can go where the perks will activate. So it's very interesting to see.
Yes, very. We see just enough distance for the make your choice to come through. And we also saw Phantom expect someone to be on the Hex Totem that Vobo did bring Chase to. But it seems to be that Valhalla survivors did not catch on to that Hex Totem there. Unhook comes through onto Vobo with the Make Your Choice proc and first Devour Hope stack. We do find both survivors here with Romano being exposed, and it looks like the hit tank will come through by Dunder, and we are at 3 generators remaining. If another gen pops, then Sympathy will not be able to win this set, but still will be possible to tie with a 4K2. Chase now at the main building, crowd control doing its thing, and we saw a fast vault, I believe, onto that upstairs window, forcing Dunder in the main building with absolutely nothing, and another down will come.
Yeah,
come
you
through.
have to keep in mind with the make your choice, the exposed doesn't actually last the whole time, or it only lasts to about the 50% mark. So the moment they saw that 50% go, Dunder was now on the menu for the next survivor to take it down, as they had already taken a hit, so they were essentially still in down. We see, though, the heal onto Vobo. Unfortunately for Phantom, though, both their totems have already kind of been scouted out this game. Dunder went down in the main building right next to their totem in the back room, and now Chase being taken back onto Vobo, but the survivors already probably have called out the totem by one of the carriages around the campsite. So Phantom just going to be shredding through resources here. Has the second stack of Devour Hope that'll only give him a little bit of haste after a hook. So nothing too powerful just yet. Phantom gonna have to get a third hook here for Devour Hope to come into play. The survivors, with Make Your Choice being revealed and seeing two hexes, one of which they don't know the use of, may actually be starting to suspect Devour Hope, though. As usually you'd expect something like Ruin, but since that's not in play, that is going to be a cleanse on a totem, and that is Devour Hope being removed from the trial before it can even get value. That is unfortunate for Phantom, leaving them with one hex left. I would argue the weaker of the two. Crowd control, and they're going to have to see how useful it's going to be as we see a third gen pop bringing Phantom to the tie condition. They're having a very rough time right now. The chases from Valhalla survivors are on point right now, but it looks like Vobo taking the chase to the back room, possibly just going to take it down, but no, a head-on play, not getting grabbed out of the locker, going to come into play here, and that is just going to give Chase onto Dunder now, actually. Phantom dropping Chase with Vobo. Both of these survivors have been hooked once, so either of them is a decent target. But Phantom, what they need right now is gen regression. They only have one gen regression perk, which will not be activated by chasing somebody like Dunder, who's, speaking of, is doing an amazing job taking chase on this back tile here that you often see just being possibly, sometimes it's a down under pallet, you just go down under it so your teammate can rescue you, or it usually doesn't result in a stun. That's basically the sum of it.
Yep, that is right. Dunder playing this very well, and as the fourth generator does pop, that will be Valhalla taking the set. Very strong performance by these survivors, just not going down and not letting Phantom get the better of them at all. The
Yeah, and
fifth
speaking
generator
of,
does pop as well.
yeah, that's gonna be fifth gen pop already.
Yep, this is gonna be a very strong result for Valhalla survivors as Phantom went for a very, very big gamble. A swing comes through and a miss does happen. Gate opens and another good body block comes out from both Vobo and Romano. That is going to be a four-stage result for Phantom. A very, very excellent game played by these survivors.
Yeah, you always have to imagine though, when you're working with a win con like that, obviously, judging by the build, you have to change your playstyle and build a bit, which can make it incredibly difficult to get that desired result if something goes wrong. Phantom, they gambled, they ran the silly build. It did not quite end up paying off, but it was a strong effort. And now we're going to be seeing Sympathy's killer pick coming up soon here in a few minutes with a Pyramid Head on the Wrecker's Yard. Stay tuned. Welcome to Geometry, everybody. We are now going to be observing the Pyramid Head on the Wrecker's Yard, doing whatever he does, starting off with Phantom, playing for Team Sympathy, trying to tie up the score here as we have a 1-0 so far on the side of Valhalla, but this should be a bit better for Sympathy as this is their killer pick. First chase being taken onto Dunder, though, a survivor that personally is very difficult to catch from what I've seen. And Dunder, as said, going to be slipping away, still playing around this filler. Does step in the trail, though, which is quite good for Phantom if they can manage to get this down fairly fast. But coming off the last round, Phantom going to need way more confidence with this first chase. They're going to be needing a hit coming through soon. And Dunder not allowing that. Never mind Dunder perfectly allowing that. That is going to result in the first hit. Nugs, what are your expectations for this match now that we have Sympathy's pick coming through?
With Sympathy's pick, I haven't seen much of their Pyramid Head, so I do not know what to expect. As a matter of fact, this is my first sighting. But this first down may be coming soon, as all that's left to work with currently is TLs for Dunder, and the down does come through. I would expect at least the standard win con to come through, and with a build involving Rancor, maybe some extra stages can come through if they find the obsession after the final generator does pop.
Yeah, it is not too often we see a Mori come through in competitive DBD. However, that would be most welcome, and that is going to be the first hook on Dunder in the basement. I was honestly expecting a Pain Resonance hook there, but Phantom, honest, I guess they're just hoping that the generators are not too progressed, or at least that they can push the survivors off of them while holding down this shack basement hook. Very strong position for Phantom to be in, especially with the hill here right next to the shack and the generator with a very high amount of progress being right next to shack as well. Phantom can just kind of patrol this area, the agitation value coming through, and first use of Rancor there that may tell our survivors that there is a sneaky perk hidden there waiting for endgame to reveal itself. Phantom probably not going to be too willing to take this chase with the obsession, as they can just save them for later. Going to go back to Shack, where we did see somebody trying for the basement rescue. Phantom can just hold their power at the top of the steps and try getting an endurance hit here. That is going to be the hit onto Dunder, but Dunder makes Shack Pallet pre-dropping like it's just your normal filler. Second generator popping. The survivors on Valhalla, incredible on the gen pressure right now, while Dunder takes it further and deeper into the map, though they did take it right near a gen that had a lot of progress. I'm surprised that's not one of the ones that popped. So that means the survivors on Valhalla have even more gen progress than previously expected.
Yep, with now 7 and 12 popping both of the vehicles, and this bus being very strong for Dunder, Sympathy is going to have a hard time securing this tunnel out as another generator does pop. The gen that we did suspect would pop first did finally pop now. Dunder doing Dunder did do an amazing job with this second chase, and now going to cage Dunder here. And now we shall be looking for some more survivors, as all of Nine's side has 0 generators now.
Yeah, Phantom does still have a bit of a 3 gen to play around here. As I said, interesting to see that they went for the cage onto Dunder and not the Pain Resonance. They might be saving that for the tunnel out now, because once you get out of cage, you don't get anything like endurance. You don't get pretty much any anti-tunnel, not even second wind when it's played. And so Phantom can just take this chase and pray that it happens extremely quickly, trying to go for some flicks here, but Dunder kind of breaking their expectations and just holding W to drop the pallet instead of trying to play around the flicks here. Phantom going to have to get this down very soon. Chase is being taken to Shack and away from the active generators, but we see a 4th gen pop inside of the 3 gen by the looks of it, and Phantom just not able to get the prediction shot onto Dunder here at the Shack. Dunder playing out of their mind and just going to take it to the deep side of the map here. Phantom can commit this, but they're going to lose a lot of pressure for this. Trying to get rid of the hit tanks as they're coming through. But that's going to be the last gen popping, and that's going to be adrenaline onto Vobo. Honestly, if you're Phantom right now, Dunder isn't even an ideal target. This is only going to provide 3 stages if you get the down now.
Yep, 3 stages is going to be a very tough win con for not Valhalla survivors, Sympathy survivors. And now we see Dunder just going corner, and and Phantom trying to slug to get some more stages, but the gates are just so far away. These gates will be prepared by the time that Phantom does make it to any of the gates, and we do see this gate open with the 3 other survivors ready to leave the trial, and that will just be 3 stages onto Dunder.
Yeah, not
Vobo and
going to get
Romano.
the...
Oh, go ahead, Snappy.
Apologies. No, you can go ahead.
Vobo and Romano were very, very bold into not leaving, which I just find really funny here. What were you going to say there, Snappy?
Yeah, just not going to see the Mori come through with Rancor. Very unfortunate. The Fortunately for Phantom, Rancor does still provide some value throughout the game. It just gives you a ton of information. But now the question is, can Phantom find Dunder? They downed him a bit ago, but it looks like Dunder has managed to crawl away. They don't really have tenacity or anything, but if I were Phantom, I would probably be going towards Shack, trying to await them to try playing for the hatch play, and they do eventually find Dunder. Now we're going to be seeing Vobo and Romano leave. They were just stalling out time for Hatch to open, but that is going to result in a death onto Dunder in a 3-stage game. Extremely difficult to play around for the survivors on Sympathy. They're going to need to play out of their minds if they want to match this result and play extremely risky or extremely safe, depending on which path they choose. It's going to be interesting to see coming up here in a few minutes how they play. We are back, everybody, with the second game here with Dunder taking on the Pyramid Head against the survivors of Sympathy. Dunder working with a very comfortable win condition here. They simply just need 4 stages. Doesn't matter the fresh hooks, doesn't matter anything else. 4 stages will do to win the second set and take the game 2-0 for Valhalla. And already going to be taking the first chase onto Bucket Man, deep side of the map, inside of the corrupt zone. That's going to be a hit through the pallet. Bucket Man not expecting the ping to come through and dropping it regardless. And this chase may honestly prove to be way quicker than the first chase we saw last game, which could be disastrous for Sympathy, as you need this first chase to last as long as humanly possible. But Bucket Man, the absolute champion, taking the chase to the Z-wall at 5 gens and honestly playing around it very well, managing to make distance to the edge map, which is going to result in the first down at a respectable amount of time for Dunder.
Yep, that is right. With an early first down as well, this is already going to be a very hard position for Sympathy survivors as a pain rush does come through. With this very tough win condition of just simply 4 stages, or 3 stages and 2 fresh hooks. Dunder looking for another survivor here. We find Mars, and basically now all that needs to happen is this down onto Mars, and then camping either of these survivors that are on a hook to second, and that will be the win condition, and Valhalla taking the set, and a very nice flick does come through.
Yeah, just going to send Mars straight to a cage, like you said, because of the fresh hooks being the third win condition here. Like you said, all they need to do is just camp this to second, and that's game over. Though for Dunder, they are looking to get more hook stages than this because they did send them to a cage, which you obviously cannot camp. And Chase going to be taken to this pretty garbage truck tile because it kind of doesn't quite guarantee a hit, but it is pretty hard to play around, especially against the Pyramid Head. Going to be a hit onto Tippy here. Tippy taking it towards the deep side of the map. We didn't see many resources used during the first chase here, so they should still have plenty to play around. But right now, a lot of what you need to work around against Pyramid Head is just your pathing. You need to have perfect pathing. You need to make it to different tiles without taking a hit, blocking line of sight, and that is going to be the spot onto Phantom. But Dunder gonna try getting another 360, not quite going to make it. Tippy still buying time here on the deep side of the map, playing around this singular filler. Dunder still trying to get the 360s, trying to get the win condition in style, and it looks like Tippy going to be trying to gen tech Dunder. This is an absolutely mad exchange going on at this tile. Dunder gonna give up eventually and just go for the M1. But style points will be awarded if they manage to get the 360. Am I correct?
Yes, style points are style points to secure Valhalla's 2-0 victory with this next hook here that has just come through. And that will be unfortunate for Sympathy as they do get 2-0'd. Now all they can do is just play for the best result possible. As we also saw an unfortunate pallet save failed attempt onto Tippy from Phantom, and a very nice hit through the pallet did also come through.
Yeah, Dunder asserting their dominance there, just walking through the pallet with the power raised, managing to get the down, shooting it even though their knife was down. Very strong action from Pyramid Head over here. Chase now being taken back onto Bucket Man. Bucket Man, once again, not having much to work with, running straight to the Z-wall. It is their home now. And that is going to be the rescue onto Tippy as Bucket Man goes down. Dunder showing complete dominance over the Wrecker's Yard at the moment, just going, by the looks of it, for fresh hooks, very interestingly.
Fresh hooks are fresh hooks, what can I say? Having that third win condition maxed out just to flex that Sympathy's killer was only able to get 1 fresh hook is definitely asserting their dominance here. As we find Mars trying to get the pallet stun, but does not come through, as Dunder did respect that pallet very well. Very gentleman of the pallet here.
Yeah, Chase still onto Mars. Mars managed to make it all the way to Shack. The survivors managing to pop a second gen. Dunder still just trying to play for the best condition possible here, just trying to get all the survivors killed here. Looking to probably get a 4K3. They have all 3 survivors standing, injured, and somebody on the hook about. Getting very close to dying. Bucket Man not much longer for this world, but it looks like somebody is going for the rescue. Dunder could get the shot through the truck here and try hitting both survivors after the unhook comes through, but they only managed to hit Bucket Man, though Bucket Man really doesn't have anywhere to go. They have this edge map filler. They might be able to make it very deep, but no, not quite. This is going to be the chase at the filler pallet, and we may get to see a bit of a chop coming in soon. Never mind, Dunder going to get fat shamed on the tires. That is a long tile now. And just going to drop chase onto Bucket Man, who has to go mend themselves. But they now find two injured survivors running towards the bus side of the map and not going to quite get the snag there with the power. Chase going back onto Phantom here. Dunder just swapping from target to target, trying to absolutely confuse Sympathy here. Eventually, it looks like the down is going to come through onto Phantom. Grab on the pallet to secure a fifth stage.
Yep, very nice interactions coming here between Dunder and Sympathy survivors. Dunder is very aware that this win condition has come through and is just simply trying to screw around with these guys, having a good time with this final matchup. We are now looking for some more survivors as the reset onto Mars comes through, looking around the three side here to see if anyone is on this deep 3 generator. And we do see Mars and another survivor that will be Tippy. Early, very, very nice down comes through. And now we're going to snowball this to get Mars. Will Dunder go for some 360s? No, just a quick 2-tap comes through. Very, very strong shockwaves from Dunder here as a third generator does pop.
Yeah, but Dunder going for the 100% accuracy run, any percent speed run, getting that down onto Tippy and Mars there with beautiful accuracy. Not going to go for the pickup onto Tippy just yet, though. Trying to find any survivors, going for the rescue perhaps, or trying to find the reset point as we see Bucket Man get reset in the distance. Dunder going to try finding him towards the deep side of the map, just trying to prevent any more gens from popping, just to secure the best result they can. As right now, they're just playing for pride. They already got the win condition. They just want to show how powerful they truly are in the Pyramid Head. And Dunder has spotted the reset, but is now just going to assert dominance by standing on the hill overlooking Bucket Man and just trying to find where Phantom's rotating to. As they have caught both of them out here. Yes, they do see Phantom as well. Looks like they're probably going to commit to Bucket Man here as Bucket Man makes a break for the pickup. And that's going to be chase onto Bucket Man. No, it's going to be going back to Phantom. Dunder not going to want to commit to anyone just yet. Wants to get the kill onto Mars here, as they were denied the kill onto Bucket Man earlier in the match. We do see the pickup onto Tippy, but the death onto Mars is secured. Dunder's goal has succeeded here, and now they can go into a chase and try getting a second kill fairly soon.
Bucket Man trying to take chase with some emotes and teabags. Just trying to get Dunder away from Tippy here. Bucket having a good time with this chase as Dunder tries to go through some blind shots with his power here. Mind game the seawall, and nice mind game does come through. Bucket Man does not read it, and we see him enter a locker, but we were able to see that with Killer Instinct as he did run through with the Torment.
Yep, we're going to see a big old chop onto Bucket Man. Dunder going up to give a bit of the WSWS, and that is going to be the second kill secured for Dunder now. Only two survivors left standing. Ideally, they may want to go for Phantom here just so they can get another use of the power, but we will have to see. Trying to find where the survivors are trying to progress these gens, as the survivors also want to play for the best result possible, and they're not doing a bad job so far. Given the raw win condition they were given, they have managed to cook a lot here, and Dunder not quite going to get the 360, still trying to go for it though, ruining their accuracy this game with sheer spins. Not going to scope out Tippy just yet. Going to drop chase onto Phantom. The ruin is still up though, eating the progress from these generators. Even though the survivors have no doubt seen it by now, there's not really anything they can do. They need to meet up for a reset, and it's looking increasingly likely that's what they're doing right now, as Dunder doesn't seem to be able to find Tippy anywhere.
Yep, that is right. We saw Phantom rotating towards the 3 side of the map, which is where Tippy could be. I wonder if Dunder will go for some more style points because style points, in my opinion, are way better than the accuracy. Those 360s coming through will be very funny. We do find both survivors getting reset, Phantom healed just in time, but the double tag comes through and all reset progress is just immediately lost right after it came out. 360
Dunder,
comes through and Shack Pallet will be going down.
Mate, trying to really go for these 360s. They will statistically eventually hit one of them. It's just a matter of time. But no, they're just going to go for the straight line shot through the shack window there. Maybe they'll try getting more style points onto Tippy. Tippy gesturing to come here, looking for the 1v1. Dunder disagrees. Looks like this is going to be a respectable 1v1 at the edge map. Exactly what we like to see. Try... Tippy daring Dunder to get the 360. Like we saw earlier in the game, chase back at this filler pallet. Dunder, in vain, trying to get the 360. Will they eventually be able to get it? This is such a wacky interaction.
Tippy just waiting for Dunder to eventually hit that 360. Going for that massive style points flex value to just simply be put in the clips for the next compilation of Pyramid Head.
Yeah, if you just edit out the failed attempts, it will look clean as hell. Eventually, they do manage to get it. Add that to Dunder's compilation. Just edit out the previous attempts. Nobody needs to see them. That is going to be the eventual death onto Tippy. And it looks like they might be able to get a cage onto Phantom as well, not really having to worry about wasting time going for a hook.
Yep, with that 360 now coming through, Dunder's montage is slowly coming together. Hopefully we will see it on the good old YouTube soon as we head to Shack to see if Phantom has crawled at all. Sounds like he's just been waiting at hatch. See Dunder standing over Phantom here. Will he allow the hatch escape? That is the question.
Dunder standing over them saying, I pity you, my subject. Run free, possibly. We're going to see in a few seconds. Will Dunder allow them? No! Dunder just bullying them! Cages them last second and then closes the hatch on top of where they used to be. Cold-hearted play coming in from Dunder. That is going to be the end of the matchup here. A 2-0 respectable victory for Valhalla. A strong attempt from Sympathy here. Do you have any closing remarks, Nugs?
Very strong match played by Valhalla here. Sympathy just simply made too many mistakes that Valhalla very much capitalized on. And very interesting matchup overall. I very much enjoyed casting over this with you.
As well, and we are going to be seeing another matchup here in about an hour's time. It is going to be, I believe, Visceral versus Overcome. And please join us then for that matchup. We will be excited to see you here in a little bit.